Alright, so here we are. This is my 2009 Harley Abelson Electra Ultra Classic. As you can see, I've got the wires going through. I usually throw my phone in the tea bags for my music. So I just picked up the Hogtunes audio solution. So this is so I can have Bluetooth on my bike. Got this from Classy Chassis, which is in just outside of Peterborough, and it was 140 bucks. So I'm gonna open this thing up. I haven't opened it up yet. Let's see what it looks like. Packaging. Oh, it's very simple, which is good. Here are the instructions. Hogtunes, big fan. I changed my speakers in the front fairing recently. The bike sounds much better. The stereo sounds much better. Not as much distortion. And Canadian made, right? These guys are out of Barrie, I think. So Barrie, Ontario, Canada. So I'm a big fan. So yeah, this looks pretty simple. Maybe a plug and play. I don't know. I'll know more when I open up the instructions. Okay, so it looks very wordy, not much in the way of pictures, so I might be screwed, but looks pretty simple. Alright, we'll check back in a second. Alright, so we're back. So it says that the first step is to remove the outer fairing and headlight assembly and set it aside. So you get three screws in the windshield here, and this is just for the 09. I don't know about the other years. I'll say just for my bike because I don't know what the hell what the differences are in the others. So I need a Torx 27 to remove these screws. Now for this year bike, to get the fairing off, there's another screw right in there on either side. So you're gonna have to move the handlebars to access that screw. I'm not gonna go through actually showing you how to do all that stuff, but we'll pop the windshield. What I do when I take the fairing off is take out the two outer screws. I leave the third screw in the middle so that I can lift up the windshield, and then the fairing kind of hangs from that. I'll take out those two bottom screws by the forks, and then I'll take out that last screw so I can hold the fairing while I take that last screw out. Okay, so here we are. Windshield's off, T-bags are off. I've got my center screw in there. Anyone who's been messing around with this, you'll realize that I forgot to tell you there are two other screws that need to come out. Right there, and then on the other side, right up there. So they need to come out. You can pop that front fairing off, and there's going to be a clip inside of the windshield or inside the headlight, and you'll need to unclip that, and it should slide right off. You don't need to take these lights off. Just be careful when you're lifting your fairing so you don't scratch the paint. Alright, the fairing is off. I put, this is a little bit just kind of how I do things. I kind of lay the screws out in the order that they would have come out of the fairing. It's just a me thing. Do what you want. Now in terms of location, the instructions are saying you need to replace one of your smaller gauges, and most often it's the air gauge that will be replaced. So even when I was talking to Classy Chassis about buying this thing, this is the gauge that they said that I'm going to take out. So in order to take that out, and this is in the instructions, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this piece right here. So that's actually a Torx 25. And this is, let me just double check. I think it's a 3/16 Allen key. That'll go into there. And if you look back in there, that's actually the air pressure gauge or temperature. So we'll take this bracket off and then see what's next. So my gauge is removed. It was a little bit tricky. Bike's in 09. It's now 2016, so those nuts have probably been on there for, let's see, 2016 and minus the carry the 6, so for 7 years. And yes, I'm being a smart ass. I do know my math. So what I needed to do is there's two nuts on there. One of them it spun off pretty easy, and on the other one I had to get a wrench onto the inside nut to loosen this outside nut, because the stem was turning. So I ended up using a 7mm and an 8mm wrench, which surprised me considering the Harley American made, blah blah blah. And speaking of made, I think I said that Hogtunes was Canadian made. It is a Canadian company, but this product is actually made in China. So I've got the unit out. There's a nut on here that needs to be threaded off. There are some washers in there. There's a plastic washer and a rubber washer in there. So those need to come off. I'm going to feed it through, and then on the back side of the fairing I'm going to put the plastic washer, then the rubber washer, and then tighten up that nut. So we'll be back. The gauge is now in. Looks really good. Kind of blends in nicely with the bike. It doesn't stand out, which is good. One thing that I did notice when installing this is it's a real challenge to get back in there to try and tighten up that nut. And tried some channel locks, I snugged it up, and then the faceplate popped off. So if that happens to you, make sure there's a couple of notches on the dial, like on the I guess you would call it the display, that to line those up with that outer ring, and it'll snap back on no problem. So I've just hand tightened it this time, made it fairly snug, but not too tight. So now I'm going to do the wiring. Well, I just kind of glanced at the wiring configuration, and of course, as I said, there's only one picture, and the description is okay, but it would probably be helpful if there were a few more pictures with respect to the wiring and in color. So that's my only negative feedback so far. All right, so I kind of take back what I said in that last bit about the wiring diagrams. The description was actually really simple. So these are the wires that are coming from the unit. This was the original plug from the temperature gauge. So the black from the Bluetooth device goes into there. Then unplug, where is that? Unplug the yellow from your cigarette lighter. And then there's a bit of a pigtail down here in the orange. So I plug the female into the cigarette lighter where the orange was, and then there's a male end from the new unit, from the Bluetooth, and that's the original female connector from your cigarette lighter. So it's just kind of spliced off. So I'm guessing that that's drawn power from there. I'm not an electrician, don't really know wiring, so can't tell you for sure. Haven't figured out what this thing does yet. Maybe that's the receiver, or the antenna for the Bluetooth. The auxiliary plug, I had to fish it right through, which took a bit of, just a bit of finesse, I guess, to get it through. Pop it out by your handlebar, and it plugs into your auxiliary jack. Thinking about maybe putting a zip tie around here just to hold it, because I do worry about the vibrations that coming out. So I'm going to tuck that back in for now, but if it does start to come out, then I'll throw a zip tie on the handlebars. So next step is pairing the Bluetooth with my motor scooter. Alright, so pairing the device is pretty straightforward. I'm going to turn the bike on so we get some power. Unit lights up, that's awesome. And you see the Hogtunes is flashing, so that means that it's searching for a Bluetooth device. This is pretty standard, as you would have with most of your Bluetooth. So I'm going to go to my work phone. I will quickly delete this connection once it's set up, because I don't want my work phone set up for Bluetooth. I don't think that it does phone, but anyway, so I'm going to select Bluetooth. It's searching. You see it, Hogtunes BTS. We're going to hear a beep. There you go. We're hooked up. That Hogtunes goes solid color. So that means I'm connected to my Bluetooth. And I also found out that let me see, where is it? This red thing here. So this pops off. If you have another device like a satellite or something like that, satellite radio, body's getting sick by watching all this movement. Anyway, yeah, so it's going to plug into there, and then on your Hogtunes unit there's an auxiliary. So you click on auxiliary and that'll take you to that unit. So that's it. Now it's time to get some music playing, put my fairing back on, so everything reverse order, and we'll see you later. Ride safe, enjoy your tunes.